My outlook is uncertain because this is an unprecedented situation. We've seen a spike in unemployment in its suddenness, which is unprecedented. We're living in a new environment, for now at least, that suggests that people are changing their thinking, their assumptions, and their ideas about business. So it's a turning point. Which way it's turning is not so clear. We have highly priced markets in the stock market, the bond market, and the housing market. Those are kind of like the three main asset classes, and they're all highly priced. Now, some people would say it's because of the Federal Reserve taking interest rates down, but I wouldn't blame the Federal Reserve because it's a worldwide phenomenon. So we're living through a period of high asset price. We have been. Any one of these has a possibility of decline. I'm not saying it's going to happen. All of these markets could tumble in the coming months. The housing market has two important components, the urban component and the suburban component. We could also say rural component. They have different outlooks. I think that there's a danger that urban setting housing, that means housing that people took because they valued its location close to work and the amenities of city living, may suffer because, first of all, the employers may be allowing work at home this time, and work at home saves a lot of time and effort commuting into work. People they've had a trial run of it and they might like it. Also, the amenities of city living. What's nice about the city? It's good restaurants, theaters, museums, art shows. But if you're afraid of people because you think you might catch something from them in the next epidemic, then you may really think of that. It may color your whole feeling about the city, and it may cause price declines. People won't be willing to spend $1 million for a small condo in coming years if that's the way they feel. Not a certainty, but a risk. Those apartment buildings in the city are hard to move. You could ask someone to try to move a building out of Manhattan to the countryside, but you won't find it feasible. So the prices will fall. That is a risk. But it doesn't mean prices will fall everywhere. People forget that a lot of the value of homes outside of this central city is in the structure. And you can build more of them. The home prices out of the dense urban setting tend to follow construction costs. And so there shouldn't be any big movement in those prices. People actually actively don't want to go into an office right now. Now the question is how soon will they get over that? Employers are already thinking about how to space people out more, but that's very expensive. Now, one plus side is they may incur a lot of expenses in construction costs. It's the same thing we see at universities. The classrooms are too crowded, so we have to build more classrooms and spread them out. It might actually involve improvements in our GDP because of extra demand, but it could more likely go the other way, which is that people will just select online learning or they'll select work at home, and we'll live in a much more dispersed world. And more of our social life will be on a screen-based social life. I've just completed teaching a course online. The question is this the future? The problem is people like a campus situation. They like to be together with other young people, and it's a human desire. The telephone was invented in the late 19th century, and some people thought then that this is going to be the end of cities, but it didn't happen. Because people still like to get together. They like to be really together. They don't like to be lonely. They don't want to be sitting with a machine in a room. There probably will be more online learning in the long run from this experience. But I also think that it may disappoint in that respect. I think there will be changes. This is learning by doing. We're experiencing a different kind of world where we're all online. And that will change the kind of jobs that we have. So starting a retail business may not be as good at this point in history, but starting a delivery service might at this point. We're seeing a lot of things delivered to our homes. That was a trend already, but this makes it even stronger. You have to become expert on something, really expert on something. that can beat the internet. And it helps to be doing people-oriented things. I've been saying that, but going into the future, we don't know what actually is going to happen. And I'm worried about increasing inequality as a possibility in the future that our society will have to deal with. Immediately, I think we'll see an improvement in inequality is very high at this moment in history when the epidemic is at its peak in many places. And that is a situation that won't last. So inequality will get better in the short run. But in the longer run, I don't know. The polarization of our society makes it more difficult to achieve economic success. And prejudices are anger, interracial anger is stimulated by it. We all have to try to prevent this from happening. Remember our friendship with each other and our goodwill wishes for each other. One inspiring thing about the crisis is that it has illustrated the heroism of people not in military jobs, but in ordinary jobs. People who deliver food or healthcare workers especially. And so there is a sense of almost wartime spirit of a community at this time. And it may lead to a politics that is more amenable toward measures that will help relieve inequality. Well, policymakers have been doing the right thing in the United States and other countries in that they're trying to stimulate the economy and protect people who are suffering the most. We don't want anybody starving. We don't want anyone hungry. We want to establish that we are a caring society, and that will help build trust in each other. And this trust in each other is ultimately a spur to economic growth. Once we trust each other, we care about each other, we'll do the right things more often. I think of the Great Depression as an analogous experience when we had very high unemployment. It affected different countries differently. It actually, I think, produced in the United States a very good outcome. We established new institutions that protect people, like Social Security or insurance for bank deposits, and it led to a lot of innovations that initially looked dangerous. They were replacing jobs, but it ultimately produced a stronger economy. So I think that the same thing might happen here again.